Welcome into Kitchen Talk Pickleball Edition. I'm your host, Caitlin Miller, and this week joining us is Anthony Flores. He's based out of Charlotte and started Charlotte Paddle Battle, which is a league out there. Anthony, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Of course. Thanks for having me today. Look forward to
So, I
talking
mean,
about it.
I know. Well, it's kind of a crazy story. I know you have a tennis background that you picked up kind of in college. And then you were invited out to play pickleball, but you actually had to get wrist surgery from a pickleball match, which is what kind of led you to
hmm
come up with this league. So tell us a little bit about what happened there. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I guess my pickleball journey is a little bit of a long story. I had, um, tennis and ping pong background. I love playing paddle racket sports. About in 2020, I had a friend keep reaching out to me to play pickleball, and I just kept shooting them down. I said, I don't know about this pickleball game. I don't know much about it. I'm more into tennis. Yeah, I'll pass. But he kept just saying, like, I have a group of 8 guys. We go out there weekly. We mix and match partners, and we try to play once a week. He's like, just come join us. And I said, I don't know. Just, give me more time. And when I turned him down, he just kept reaching out to me on a weekly basis, like telling me his match stories. And he was telling me these comeback wins and the drama he had on the pickleball court. And I kept wanting to hear more about the stories. And eventually I was like, I just need to give it a try. Let me play it. And he's like, yeah, of course. I know you're good at ping pong and tennis. Like, I think your game will translate to pickleball, and you'll probably be one of the best guys we had out there playing. So, I gave it a shot. And really within the first time I played, I enjoyed it instantly. I wanted I wasn't great at it the first time. There was a lot of things I needed to learn about the game,
Yeah.
but I wanted to get better. I never go into anything wanting to be average. So when I started this, I was like, I know I'm not gonna ever be amazing at pickleball probably, but I can definitely get better. So I was playing twice a week, 3 times a week, and my game was really starting to improve. And I was telling my friends and family about it. My wife just kept joking with me, like, we're going out to play an old man sport, right? And I was like, well, I mean, I'm playing with like 25 and 35-year-old guys. I don't feel like it's an old man sport, but I hear that stipulation quite a bit. It was at the time at least an old man sport. Uh, but when I was playing for about 6 months, I broke my wrist and I had to have surgery. I had to have 2 screws put in, and then I even had a complication from the screws being in my wrist. So I had to go back under the surgery to get the screws out. I was out for about a year from playing pickleball, and
Wow.
I since then my motivation to play like hasn't gone away, but I feel like other things in my life have kind of gotten involved, and I haven't had as much time to play. And my wrist, I still can't bend it the same way I used to bend my wrist. So things haven't been quite the
Yeah.
same, but that's like I guess a little bit my background about how I got into pickleball.
And that's when, I mean, obviously it's terrible what happened to you with your wrist, but that's when it kind of sparked the idea like so many people are wanting to join your group and there's not much organized play. So that's when you came up with the league, right? Charlotte Paddle Battle.
Right. And I was actually when I broke my wrist, I was really frustrated. We were playing a match. I was serving. It was match point. I remember the park we were playing at. I faulted. It was 11. We were up 10-9. Just needed that one more point to win and go home.
Yeah.
I faulted. And then they ended up winning that game, and we had to go to game three. There was no lights at that park. I had to go transfer to a different park. We drove our cars somewhere else. We had to wait 30,
Oh my
45 minutes to
gosh.
play again. I was getting cold, and then we transitioned to a tennis court with pickleball lines. And I remember getting lobbed, and I was just backpedaling, and sure enough, I lost my balance and fell backwards onto my wrist. And yeah, the rest is history there. But yeah, when we were playing over time, like a lot of people were coming up to us at the parks, and they just kept saying like, do you guys know each other? I'm interested in playing pickleball, but I don't know anybody to play with. Can I join you guys?" And unfortunately, we were kind of like, no, we've got our own group of guys. We don't really need anybody else playing with us. But
Right.
the more I kept hearing that, it was just, there's something there. There's people need to be linked together to play pickleball, because there was definitely that need that I saw in Charlotte. And then on top of that, like I know I was when I joined that league with 8 guys, or it ended up being like about 12 or 16 of us. I made a lot of new friends. I didn't know any of them besides the guy that recruited me to that little group of people. So I was making friends, and I knew pickleball would be a good outlet for people to make friends. So I saw the need. I knew people wanted to make friends here in Charlotte, and then on top of all that, it was more of just I wanted to do my own thing. My my dad ran his own business for 35 years, and I had that entrepreneurial mindset. I even there's times throughout my life where I created things, but I never went from start to finish. I kind of put things on the back burner. Like I even created a board game one time. I never got it published,
Oh my gosh, that's
but
so cool.
yeah, yeah. But this was the one thing I was like, I should really carry this out from start to finish, and it just kind of that's kind of how it evolved.
I love that. And I saw, I mean, it started as I don't know how many people, but it's grown to over 450 people. I mean, that's crazy. It's clearly gained so much traction too.
Yeah, so the league started September, or it started in May of 2022. And
Okay.
all I did was I published a few flyers at a couple courts here in Charlotte. I think there were about 3 courts I targeted. I put a flyer on the fence, and I wasn't sure if I was even going to get anybody to sign up. But sure enough, there was about 40 to 50 people that signed up for that first season. I ran 2 divisions. We had a men's doubles and a mixed doubles division. And the season ran for 9 weeks long. I could tell everyone was enjoying it, and they were starting to tell their friends. And I was like, something definitely is this is going to grow. And sure
Yeah.
enough, about 2.5 years later, each season is bringing in about 450 people.
Wow.
Now, not each season's 9 weeks long, and not everyone comes back every season, but I see a lot of them at least two of the 4 seasons during the year. So I would say probably I'm touching about 1,500 people on a yearly basis throughout the 4 different seasons that I ran.
That's amazing. And what has it been like to see this community develop? Like I know you were saying, some people have become close friends because of your league. Some people have even started dating. I mean, to see that like you were the one that kind of started that, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting. So I have obviously people join the league that have their own partner or their own friend, significant other and all that. But I have an ability to match up people that want to play doubles that don't have a partner. And I, I don't ask a lot of information when I'm matching up people, but I do get a lot of emails saying, "Hey, I'm a 25-year-old male. I'm active. I'm looking for this." I'm getting people telling me their like dating stories over email, and I do use it as notes to try to pair them up with the right type of person. So over the years here, there's probably been 3 couples that I know have like actually dated from my just random pairing of people, which is pretty cool. I feel like not only am I a pickleball league, but I'm kind of a matchmaking
You're
service
a
here too.
matchmaker. Well, it's interesting too. I see a lot of like mix and mingle like events or like single and mingle like happening. I know they
Hmm.
do one at like Lifetime in New York City that I follow on Instagram and stuff. So, I mean, hey, it clearly works.
It definitely works. Yeah, it's funny because sometimes when people register for the league, I see their names come in, and there was a series of 3 seasons where that same couple that I paired up registered every single season after that together. And then a year later, I saw them sign up with different people. So I was like, what, the relationship must have fizzled out, but yeah, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah,
And
no, and it's so fun. I mean, like, because you were obviously taken out of the game due to an injury. I know you said you kind of play less now, but you're really involved in like a different sort of way, which is cool.
yeah, I like to refer to myself as the commish. That's what I
Yeah.
call myself when I'm out there at the pickleball playoffs. So yeah, I'm the guy behind the scenes. I have the software. I answer the emails. I'm the customer support rep. I mean, I do everything for the league. I market it. I do all that. But occasionally, I will accept my own league's proposals, and I will go out there and play either with my dad or my wife. So that everyone enjoys seeing me when I step on the court and like, oh, you're the guy who's sending me all the emails. And I was like, yeah. Yeah, that's me.
That's me. That's so funny. And so I was going to ask, do you go out to the courts often and watch, or do you typically go to playoffs when everyone's kind of playing each other?
The one time during the 9 week season that I'll definitely be there is the playoffs. So during the season, so this league is just like a flexible scheduling league. You play anytime, anywhere you want. I have the software that allows you to propose a match. If you want to play on Saturday at 12 o'clock at this place, you put it in the system. Everyone gets notified that there's a new proposal in there, and then anyone can pick up your match. So that's how the league works. You propose matches or you accept matches, and then people show up to the court, they play, and afterwards they record the score into the system. So that's the 9 week regular season. The playoff event I do hold at a set location, and I show
Okay.
up. I have all my divisions come for the playoffs on that same day. So right now, I'm actually my fall season's playoff is occurring on Saturday. I'm running, so I went from two divisions when I started this. Now there's nine divisions.
Wow. Okay.
So we'll have all nine divisions on Saturday's playoffs. People bring their friends, their family. There's this people just sitting out watching the games play, and I show up and I make sure everyone is coordinated and they get to the right court and things run smoothly. So I show up for the playoff event, and then I do play in the league myself, but it's limited. I try to meet everyone that has joined the league. I mean, we're talking maybe almost 3,000 people now over 2 years. I haven't met all of
Yeah.
them, but I do try to come out there and meet as many as of my members as I can.
And what was fascinating to me, and I know you love like developing things, like you said, a board game, that's crazy, but you also developed the software, right, to run this league.
Correct. So that actually has an interesting story too. I'm really big into Excel, and I've done some things over my years where I've created some really unique and random things. So one of the things I'm actually most proud about is at my old company we played ping pong every day for lunch for an hour,
Okay.
and the guys there was about 10 guys that we would wolf down our sandwiches and get to that ping pong table and play doubles every day.
I
We did
love
this.
that.
We did this for a whole year, and yeah, I love contests. I love stats. So I'm just like, I really want to know who's the best ping pong player at our company. So some people, were hesitant and fought me on it, but I ended up creating a spreadsheet, which I call the BCS of Flores ping pong, and I had we played doubles, then we had combinations of everyone we were playing with. So I played with like eight different people, throughout the lunchtime break and all that. So on my spreadsheet, I had every combination of teams I could possibly play, and all we had to do was log in our scores. And the spreadsheet ended up tracking point differential, strength of schedule. I even had a coaches poll, like all the guys, we ranked our own teams in our own coaches poll, and I had like some multiplier that put all these pieces together, and I had I spit it out a BCS of ping pong there, and sure enough, my teams were always in the top, which was made
Of
people
course.
upset. But yeah, so that that spreadsheet I developed was really intense, and I learned so many things on how to keep track of us standings and like reorder the standings as matches were entered. So I had that IT experience. So when I went to go create Paddle Battle, I knew there needed to be some type of software. I just can't have people texting like, come play here, I'll meet you here. Like it needed to be a little bit of official. So when I decided to do this, I really only had about a month to get it going because I knew I wanted to start it in the summer of 2022.
Yeah.
And we were looking, it was at that time, it was March. I had 1 to maybe 2 months to get everything ready. So I created a bunch of formulas and Google Forms. I did everything in Google at the beginning. I had Google Sheets, Google Forms. I had this huge database behind the scenes that was just rich in formulas and manipulating everything. So people ended up not really probably realizing how complicated it was behind the scenes, but it did work, and it worked it could still work today. I mean, it worked for the first year and a half of the league. but I knew as I was growing, I mean, I started with the 40, 50 people and then it hit, thousands. And I, I, ju- I was doing a lot of manual things behind the scenes that no one knew about. And this wasn't sustainable. I do have an actual job. I'm running
Right.
pickleball. I'm running the paddle battle on the side. So I had to streamline it a little bit more. I got a developer to come help me, and we put together a new player portal that was definitely more scalable for the future for me.
And now you guys, right, are the biggest league in Charlotte.
Yes, I mean, as far as I know, we're the biggest league. So paddle battle itself doesn't have a dedicated court, and there are pickleball facilities here in Charlotte that have dedicated courts. They have their own leagues. They have like maybe a Wednesday night league, a Thursday night league, and all that. But the the reason someone wants to join paddle battle is they want to play on their time and on their schedule. They don't want to be tied maybe to a specific court. They want to explore Charlotte. They want to meet other people outside of a set location's members. So I, I'm utilizing public parks. People are playing at the parks. My members belong at private clubs. So whenever they propose a match, people are going to their private club or neighborhood court. And I also kind of got in with some breweries here in Charlotte. I set up pickleball courts at their parking lot or maybe inside their brewery, and I bring people to them, and my people drink, have their drinks and food, and then we get to play pickleball while we're there too. So I'm trying to find unique ways to create courts in Charlotte without having my own dedicated facility.
I was going to ask you about that next. I thought that was so cool. You work with a few breweries in town and kind of create courts. You'll have to send me some photos too. We'll post it on
Oh,
social
definitely.
media. But I mean, that's so obviously breweries are really open to the whole pickleball scene.
Yeah, I mean there are two breweries here in Charlotte that have, or not really breweries, they're more pickleball and restaurant concepts, and they are doing fairly well. So I think the other breweries recognize that, and they see like, wow, these people are charging $100 an hour to play at their courts. Like
Yeah.
this seems kind of like an overkill. Like, why Paddle Battle's offering me all the supplies. I'm bringing the nets, I'm bringing the pickleball lines to them. They don't have to do anything besides just give me their parking lot or a little bit of space that they have. And I mean, they're definitely open to it. I'm bringing 20 people a night at least to their brewery, and they're seeing the benefits in their sales as well.
Yeah. And that's cool too, to like add that social element to the league. I saw you guys do like social outings and things like that. So I feel like that's what pickleball is all about, right? Is like the community. And I know Charlotte's kind of like Nashville, where people are moving to the city every day, trying to meet friends and things like that. So I feel like you create the perfect opportunity for that.
I definitely think pickleball is more of a social game than any of the things I've played in. I mean, tennis, there's definitely more hardcore tennis players that don't really care about the social aspect. But when I got involved in the pickleball community, I could tell people wanted to linger after the matches. They wanted to make friends, and bringing them to these breweries, like it does help foster relationships and just gives them a fun outing to go to.
And what I know, obviously, in the 2 years you guys have existed, you've come such a long way. Do you have any other goals that you want to do with this league?
I do. I want to expand to different cities, but the one thing holding me back at the moment is I feel like it's working here in Charlotte because I'm familiar with Charlotte. I was born and raised here. I know all the areas of town. I know where the courts are, and I
Yeah.
am that face that will show up occasionally throughout the season. If I were to expand to another city, I feel like there needs to be another, Anthony that is there that can at least show their face and help with playoffs and just give it a more personable feel. I, I I pride myself on the customer service that I offer for this league, and I would want to make sure that same thing is given in a different city. So what
Yeah.
I do want to do, I want to find someone that lives in a different city that are maybe moved to Charlotte from a different city, and those people in that city, and they can maybe start the league there under the brand Paddle Battle, but And not be CLT paddle battle, it can be a landed paddle battle or Nashville paddle battle, something like that.
Right, almost like a local ambassador who knows
Yeah.
the pickleball scene totally. And so right now, is it literally you and that developer running this?
It's really just me. I brought the
Okay.
developer on temporarily. He was just really a 6 month. It was a 6 month project to get the new website up and running. I did all the testing of the website. I ironed out all the bugs, and I gave him all the pointers of what he needed to do to develop it for me. And now that the site's up and running, he's no longer in the picture, and it's just me. I run all the aspects of it.
Good for you. And one of the things too that I noticed that people, I'm not sure if you started getting involved with this, but I know a lot of businesses like corporate events, they're running like pickleball tournaments. So have you ever had businesses kind of reach out to you to say, "Hey, Anthony, like, can you help us run, an event or something like that?"
There, no one. Well, one charity event definitely reached out to me, and they wanted me to help them run a pickleball tournament here next year, and I plan on doing that. And last year, a corporation reached out to me as well. Just they didn't want me to run the tournament, but they wanted me to give all my insights on what would make a successful day for them and how many matches they think could be played in a certain amount of time and just all the logistics. And I helped them with behind the scenes logistics of their tournament. And that's another growth area for the league too. I do want to get into the corporations. I feel like a corporate league is kind of my next stop here too.
Yeah.
There's I played kickball and softball and soccer with my company, and there's definitely a need for that. People want to be active and promote wellness at their company, and pickleball is a great
Yep.
way to do that.
I feel like that's become so popular. It's like, yeah, I always played on like a kickball league and volleyball league. It's so fun for like team bonding too. And I don't know, it's more fun than just going to the gym on a
Oh,
Tuesday
definitely,
night.
yeah.
And since you started, just seeing like, I know you're from Charlotte, but seeing the pickleball community develop, have you seen like so many more people start to play pickleball in the Charlotte area?
Definitely. The courts are jam packed with people wanting to play pickleball. That's the
Yeah.
huge need in Charlotte right now is let's get more pickleball courts. And I believe the county is working on it. I think they're recognizing everyone wants to play pickleball now, and there's just not enough courts. Unfortunately, right now the parks we have, they they don't have lights for the most part at the courts. So
Mm,
when we're talking here in
yeah.
the winter time and the fall time, when it gets dark and cold outside, you can't play pickleball past 6 p.m. pretty much. There's only two places that have lights, and yeah, I mean
I'm
that's
sure the line is crazy too for those
it is.
places.
So right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
you do have to reserve a court. Usually, even a public court, it's $5 an hour to reserve a court, and those get taken very quickly too. It
Yeah,
opens
I'm
up a
sure.
week in advance to book a court, and if you don't get it that week in advance, you're not going to probably be able to play for the week.
Yeah. Wow.
But
Okay.
if you're fortunate to be able to play during the 12 to 5 p.m. time frame during the weekdays, the courts are open. But anytime after 5 p.m., it's tough to get a court.
Yeah, and I'm sure weekends are tough
Well,
too.
weekends are tough, but I feel like it's more doable on the weekends.
Okay.
The
Okay.
system here in Charlotte, it's leaning more towards having half the courts reservable and then the other half showing up for open play. That's kind
Okay.
of a change they made recently, which has helped. You feel like you don't have to have a reservation now if you want to go play, but you just know that you're gonna have to sit in line for a little bit and kind of wait your turn to get on the court.
Yeah, yeah, it seems to be that way in most cities. And I know like you said you always, wanted to start your own thing. You've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. Now that you've done it and have quite the success, what would you say has been the most like rewarding part of that whole experience?
Anytime I get an email that just said, "Man, I'm having a lot of fun playing in your league," that's that brings me joy.
Yeah.
I feel like I get so many compliments on just, wow, I made a lot of friends playing in this league. it's running so smoothly. I don't know how you do it. How do you keep up with all these people? Like for the playoffs, I end up I text everyone their time slot that they're going to play at, and I'm texting like 200 people, and it's just
Oh
I
my
feel like
gosh.
people are always like, they're just amazed. Like, how do you do it? How do you answer my emails so quickly? You're always available. I am at my computer. I try to get to them when I can. But yeah, it's rewarding when I get positive feedback.
Yeah, and it's fun too that you said you play with your dad, you play with your wife. So you've really made it, not only about your friends, but you've gotten your family involved too. I love that.
Yeah, I enjoy playing with them, but my wife and I, we argue quite a bit on the pickleball court.
Some people are so hit or miss. It's so
yeah,
hit or miss.
it's always my fault when we miss a point or lose a match, but I'll take the blame.
And I know you have a baby on the way. Are you going to get him or her involved in pickleball at an early age? I mean, now seeing all the juniors, it's crazy. There's like pickleball camps going on.
Oh, definitely. One of my friends, we had a baby shower recently, and one of my friends got him a pickleball onesie, so he's
Oh,
already in the pickleball mindset.
awesome. Well, I love that. And I can't wait to go to Charlotte and actually see the pickleball scene. It's exciting. And actually, I didn't even tell this story. The reason that I got in touch with Anthony was because two of my friends actually play in your league and they absolutely love it and were raving about it. So they're like, we need to get Anthony on your podcast. So
Yeah, they were always at my social outings at the breweries, and
I'm
they
sure they were.
yeah. And I remember last year, one of your friends was like, I have a friend doing a podcast. So I'm gonna recommend you to her. So I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm so happy. Well, thank you so much, Anthony, for sharing your story. Oh, for those of people that maybe live in the Charlotte area that want to join your league, how do they do that?
They can visit my website. It's cltpaddlebattle.com.
Okay.
And then from
Awesome.
there, there's
Easy
a
enough.
registration link, and all you have to do is the registration fee also is very nominal. I feel like a lot of places charge quite a bit for player fees, and my player fee for a season is only $20.
Oh, wow.
So
That is,
it's
yeah.
really nominal, and I feel like everyone has a good time and makes friends and can play pickleball as much as they want during the season.
Yeah. I love that. Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Anthony, so much for joining us and stay tuned to see who will join us in the kitchen next time.